And always a great day to talk to Jason Kelce. Jason, how are you, bud?
Doing great. Good time in Philadelphia sports right now, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It is something, man. So, I mean, where to start? A.J. Brown. That's where to start.
Okay.
All right. So, we're going to get to this Seth Joyner stuff from yesterday, Seth and A.J. and social media. But let's just go back to, Jason, your assessment of what happened on Sunday after the game. A.J., and we're going to play audio of things he said yesterday. What do you make of the situation? Obviously, it's complicated. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's a guy that really wants to be a productive, meaningful part of the offense. I think that he knows what he can do, and I think that everybody in that building knows what he can do. And I think it's, we've seen semblances of this in the past, obviously last year, and the offense isn't functioning well right now, right? It's hit or miss. We've had halves where we put it together last week, the first half. Against the Rams, dominating second half, and really the only reason we won that game. Start the game year against Dallas, but we've played some really good defenses, and the offense in particular, Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, haven't been meaningful parts of it. And it's a guy that is, obviously, I wish he probably would have done it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the issue that a lot of people have, but having known A.J. Brown, the great teammate that he is. I love the guy. I think that his intentions, while, not the best avenue to release them, are good-natured. I've always loved playing with him. And I think that the Eagles should find a way to involve A.J. Brown. I mean, he's an incredible talent. Everyone out in that building should be upset that this is not going that way. So that's my overall thought.
It's so strange to be 4-0 and have this many offenses on one side of this many issues on one side of the ball. I mean, because you would think if, like last year when the passing game would struggle, the running game was phenomenal.
The running game really since Jalen's been there, has been unreal. And a lot of that is because of the threat that he offers, and the offensive line has been very good, and the scheme has been great. And for that to be struggling right now is probably the thing that's the most odd watching this, because that's something that really just hasn't been an issue in Philadelphia for a long time.
Sure.
But I think, we're 4-0. I've seen a lot of people like, Jalen needs to throw it up more, right? Like he's risk averse. He needs to be pushing the ball down the field and taking chances. Like, dude, we're only 4-0 right now because we're winning the turnover differential. Like, if we don't win that against the Rams, if we don't win that against Kansas City with my brother at the end of the game, if we don't win it last week, we don't win any of those games really. So
I agree with you.
I disagree that being more risky with the football is the way to involve these playmakers more. I think that there's ways to do that while still being relatively conservative with the football.
Absolutely.
So anyways, yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward, like run a slant and go.
Yeah,
Not
sluggo.
Just a slant. Run a slant and go and have success, and then maybe the slant will be a little more open the next time.
Yeah, and that's what I think AJ even said, like that sluggo is kind of what got him started against the Rams in the second half.
He did point that out exactly. Yeah,
well, and like whether you're doing the RPOs, like AJ is one of the best slant runners that have been in the NFL, and that's something that the Eagles have utilized to great advantage because he can take a 5-yard slant and turn it into an explosive play because of the talent that he is. And you got to continually try to find ways to work off of that while still also taking advantage of that stuff.
Let's listen to something AJ said yesterday, because he said a lot, and I'll just say this. I was a little frustrated that he did not, I think, open up more. Because I want to know, I don't think it's just as simple as he's frustrated because they're not, playing great on offense. I really don't believe that. But I also recognize it's probably good for him and the team that he doesn't open up more. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. But with that said, he was asked a good question about playing for the Eagles, and he gave an answer. He answered a lot of questions yesterday. Here's one of them about playing for the Eagles.
Just to clarify, AJ, are you happy here?
Absolutely. This is home. This is my home. Unfortunately, I did it to myself. I wouldn't even say unfortunately, I did it to myself. But this is my home, man. I love it here, But you just see frustration because obviously, we want to be great. And most definitely, I want to be great as well.
So we're going to keep playing this audio, and you can assess, based on what you hear, what your reaction is. Ben, first time talking to you since this all went down a few days ago. How, as an Eagles fan, as a common sense guy, how annoying was this for you 3-4 days ago?
I think the timing of it was not ideal, obviously. Social media is something that I'm not a huge fan of, and I think he could have gone about it a different way.
Yeah.
Having said that, I love the fact that he's unhappy with the way the offense is rolling. He made that perfectly clear. I'm also happy that I I associate it like with the Nick Castellanos thing. This guy loves to play the game of football. You know, Nick Castellanos loves to play baseball.
Yeah.
He wants to be a big part of their success and their winning, and he doesn't feel he's a part of that right now. I understand his frustration.
Difference, of course, is one guy is probably now a below-average baseball player, and one guy is probably still a supreme wide receiver.
Yeah,
Jason, I'll say this.
yeah,
I don't think
valid.
listen, I can't know for sure, but I would doubt that AJ has lost it, because there's some people out there saying he's not as good as he was. I don't buy that.
I don't think that that's the case one bit. I mean,
No.
I
wasn't
think-
always. He was never a guy who was I'm going to juke you and get far from you before the quarterback throws it anyway. Not like a separating type receiver.
He's a big
Jalen-
body possession receiver
Sure,
that is also a massive.
He'll body position you,
Yes.
and then Jalen, if he trusts that, will put that thing up or put it on his body or give him a chance.
But
The
John,
thing is,
I do think
he hasn't given him those
Well,
chances thus far.
I agree, but I do think it's fair to say he was getting open more in recent years. I don't think he's gotten open as much this year. I
Yeah,
think that's pretty clear.
And there's a lot that can be done.
I think he's
to
also-
help him get open.
He's a unique, large-bodied receiver that also has the ability to create separation. And I think that there are. I'm sure the Eagles are constantly trying to figure this out. I don't think that AJ is lost, even if he. I don't think he's lost a step. I don't think he's lost any meaningful amount of athleticism that
I
is
don't
causing
either.
this decline in his ability. I think that he is still one of the best, if not the best, receivers in the NFL. AJ knows it, the team knows it, and they want to find ways to utilize this. And I think, it's a lot harder than just throwing the ball to him, giving up opportunities. It depends on what the defense is in, what the structure is. Is it zone? Is it man? How can we find ways each and every game to put him in spots where we are giving him opportunities? And there's some ways where you can make it for sure. Like, listen, and they tried it last week. They threw him like a bubble screen early, and it didn't work. And a lot of the other ones were like downfield throws where they were supposed to be like 50-50 go balls, but they weren't catchable really. So it's like they're going to be hard at work this week, I'm sure, trying to figure out the schematic things that they can do to heighten the chances of him succeeding. And Jalen wants to get him the ball. And that's where, this whole thing is frustrating because, like, the offense used to stall when AJ used to go out because Jalen that was his comfort blanket, and that's who he went to, and that's who he relied on. And I think that I don't think that has changed. I just think that the circumstances of how the first 4 weeks have gone have largely not been conducive to getting AJ the ball, and they're going to be hard at work trying to figure that out.
So we'll continue to play the audio of AJ from yesterday. Also, Rob Thompson, things he said to us from yesterday. That is on the table. We'll talk about that. 8 o'clock, your chance to hear a name. And with that name, you can win the tickets for the Eagles-Broncos game, which is on Sunday. So be tuned at 8 o'clock as we give you... Listen, little hint. We've given you 2 wide receivers' names so far this week. I'm just going to put that out there. We give away the tickets tomorrow at 8, but you got to hear the name today at 8.
Courtesy of NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy.
Spread the word to your family and friends. Before every Eagles home game, we give away tickets on the Friday at 8 o'clock. But it's a contest that runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 to hear the 4 names and win the tickets. All right, let's go to the phones. Dr. Gina right now. Gina, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Jason, always a joy to talk to you, too. So here's my take on things. It makes for great talk radio to talk about AJ. It really stirs the fires. It foments conversation about everything. However, I do think, if you're talking about somebody, obviously he understands that he has, I don't want to say emotional issues, mental issues, but AJ works on himself all the time. And he comes from a generation where they put stuff out on Twitter. Our generation, we kept things to ourselves like that. We didn't broadcast it across the world. We didn't show everybody what we were eating for
As
dinner
Tony
every
Soprano
night.
said in season 2, the strong, silent type. Who was it, Gary
Correct.
Cooper? I think it was Gary
It
Cooper.
was High Noon, yeah. High Noon's talking
The
about, yeah.
strong, silent type. Might have been season 1, but anyway, go ahead.
So, putting something out like that, I think that was a lot for himself, too, not just for the rest of the world to hear. I think that was his own affirmation to himself about, just walk away from drama. Don't feed into it. And now what's happened? It's gone out on social media. Now it's all over the radio. It's all over TV. So it winds up being this, like, self-perpetuating machine. Is AJ going to be here next year? I say leave a lot of that crap alone. Just, they're scheming for him. Just like with Saquon, they're setting up their defenses to make sure that Saquon can't run and AJ can't catch. It's kind of as simple as that.
Yeah, but
you know what,
Gina? They're not. The other team isn't supposed to be able to take away both. They're not. They're not. They're not supposed to be able to take away both. Now, if the offensive line struggles, then that makes it harder. But you know what I'm saying? Like, normally, when one element of the Eagles has struggled in past years, the other element can pick them up. And so far this year,
we haven't always had a brand new offensive coordinator. It's like who's testing things out, who's trying things. I just feel like we have just made way too much of this, and it's making things worse. I think we ought to just draw it back a little bit, concentrate on the fact that the Phillies are going up against the Dodgers on Saturday night. The Lions should be a great game. Just don't. All that negativity, man, it's getting to me.
All right, well, he put it out there. Just know he put it out there, not me.
He did. And Joe, don't wear that uniform, whatever you do. Don't wear that. Burn that freaking thing, okay?
All right, Dr. Gina, give me an answer. An actress, 2 roles. What do you got?
I got Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman, and Erin Brockovich.
That's very big.
Those I think are the correct 2.
I think Erin Brockovich is the correct second one. I agree with that. All right, I want to get to some audio of Rob Thompson. Message to the team. They crank it up for a 4th October. Rob Thompson was on our show yesterday and addressed his message to the squad.
My message is always the same. It's, keep an even temperament. It's still a grind. If you get down early, don't panic. If you get up early, step on their throat. But I think the message, it's not really a message, it's a feel. I think that the core guys here are every year when we fall short, there's a lot more there that they want, and they want to finish this thing off. So there's certainly so much motivation in our core guys. I don't think you have to really throw a carrot out there because it's there for them.
Makes sense. And listen, I don't think he's going to go in there and Newt Rockney them before game 1. No. I mean, it's just, they know they got to go out there and do a better job than past, failures in October. Ben, let's talk about the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. So I referenced earlier, I am a bit scared. I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. They looked incredible against the Reds. They had a great September. I think they're one of the 2 best teams in baseball with the Phillies. I think 2 best teams. For those that don't know, the Dodgers have moved in front of the Phillies for odds to win the World Series and to win the series. Slight favorite. Ben, the L.A. Dodgers. Give us your assessment of what the Dodgers are. What are the Phillies and the city of Philadelphia facing for the next couple of days?
Right now, that's a formidable ball club. You got Shohei at the top. Mookie Betts is on a different planet right now, and he struggled mightily throughout the course of the season. This guy's swinging the bat really well. Obviously, you know what Shohei can do. I'm just concerned with the Phillies and how they attack the starting rotation. The 3 games that they played out in L.A., yes, they won 2 out of 3, but in 18 2/3 innings that the starters pitched for the Dodgers, Phillies got 1. They scored 1 earned run off of them. 1. They did all their damage against the bullpen. So that is something that's very concerning. The Phillies don't win. It's because they don't win because they, like the last couple of years, because they haven't hit. They need to hit. They need to be more consistent offensively. If they hit, they're going to win. I'm not worried about their pitching, per se. I'm not worried about their bullpen. They need to hit. They can't go into these doldrums where they just don't do anything. That can't happen. If that happens, they will lose.
Let me ask you the question, because this relates to hitting, pitching. Who was a better Game 1 starter? Christopher Sanchez or Shohei Ohtani?
I would go Sanchez.
James, you agree with that?
I do. Now, Shohei just hasn't pitched as much, but talent-wise, Shohei's right there. But I would definitely take Christopher Sanchez of the 2.
Jason, you going to head down to some of these games?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Saturday and Monday?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I can't go Monday, obviously, but yeah, no, Red October is fantastic. There's, the bank is a baseball stadium. It feels like you're at a football game, like the ruckusness to it, the energy behind it, and I've had some very fun experiences down at the bank, enjoying some playoff baseball for sure.
Do you as a fan, I get more nervous. I mean, I just do for a playoff game, any of my 4 teams. As a player, do you get more nervous for postseason play?
maybe your first one, because it's like a lot of times the nerves as a player were like the first time you ever did something. So I don't know that you get nervous after that first one, but the all of your senses and emotions are heightened. And I think that's why one of the things I like with what Rob Thompson was saying, where like during the playoffs, you almost want to like counteract that natural enthusiasm and heightened elevated senses with a little bit more like, hey, this is the same thing we've always done.
Yeah.
This is the same game we've always played. Like, don't try and overdo it. And that was what everyone who ever played in the Super Bowl when we won it in 2017 and had won it, like all of the guys that have done it successfully for a long time, that's usually the messaging they send, because they know how easy it is to let those emotions really take hold. And then all of a sudden it turns you into making mistakes that are not characteristic of who you are as a player. So, they're going to naturally be there. So I think that messaging by Thompson's the right one.
Would you say it's more anxious than nervous?
Yeah, it's more anxious for sure. It's not like a nervous, like I don't know if I can perform. It's more like you're about to go play a huge game and your whole season has led to this, and your that kind of feeling is there a little bit for sure.
Where I think that even ratchets it up tenfold is about halfway through. I know for fans it does. Halfway through the game when it's not going so well. I mean, John, remember those Mets games last year? And it felt like it impacted the players. Like it felt like, fourth, fifth inning, we're in a hole.
Yes.
Like we're in a hole.
No
The pitcher
doubt.
knew they were in a hole. The hitters knew they were in a hole. And it felt like it got to them.
on their shoulders.
Yes.
The unseen just pressing them down. Yeah, no doubt about it, Joe. And I felt like, I don't know, for whatever reason, a guy like Harrison Bader helps insulate against this.
I agree with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Harrison Bader, his, just actions, guys just look to him as he's crab walking out there. I don't know. He doesn't ever consider the possibility that this team might lose, and that is contagious. And that's sometimes you just got to lean into that a little bit more. Knowingly lean into that a little bit more. Suspend your disbelief a little bit more, because sometimes you're playing against a really good team in the series. This Dodgers team, they're probably the best team in the world. Yeah, all right. Well, we got them at home, and we've got the vibe here, and we've got a group of fans where that adds to our team. Our fans augment our team. And,
I agree.
It'll get tight,
that's
though.
the difference.
It'll get tight
it
again.
does, James.
I
That's true,
agree with
too.
you. Harrison Bader can help the players stay loose, but if the Phillies are down 2-0 in the seventh inning, it's going to be tight in that building.
You're
it
right.
just will,
Okay,
especially if
good.
they're down 1-0 in the game, and then
We're
they're down
ready
the
for
second
that.
game.
No, you're
Like,
right
it just
about
is
that.
what it is.
It cuts-
Crowds,
prepared.
when they
It cuts
experience
both
these things,
ways.
yes, exactly. It cuts both ways. They're going to get tight.
Yeah,
It's going to
that's
happen.
Yeah, but sometimes it only takes one guy doing something crazy to all of a sudden get a crowd back into it.
That's true, too.
I really do
Yep.
feel like if you do one outlandish thing at the bank and you make some play or get in somebody's face, and this is the thing that, again, you want to go into the game with this even-keeled temperament, but like if things start not going well, you want somebody to kind of do something to kind of spark it, right? And if you feel that energy of the building start dampening, a lot of times that energy is also matched with the players.
Yeah.
And having somebody that like gets in somebody's face, maybe you take like a hard slide into second base, and like I think that there's things that you can do
that
that
would
can
be cool.
I'm just saying,
I
like
agree
these
with you.
things
would
get
be
that
so
energy
awesome.
back, and like
Sure.
so.
Well, the
I don't know.
Phillies also do a lot in between the innings to try to pump up the crowd. That's when they'll show, Ben, that's when they'll show Cole Hamels or Ryan Howard.
Yeah, but
Jason
it's got
Kelce.
yeah, but it's got to be the current guys. As much as fun as it is for me to go out there and chug a beer and be in front of a crowd, that crowd's going to feed off the energy of the players.
Yeah.
So that's where it's really got to come from.
It should be a good series.
It should be a great
It
series.
should be a really good series. You think about how many future Hall of Famers are going to be on the field on Saturday.
That's crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's crazy how many future Hall of Famers are going to be on that field.
And Ben, there were 1, 2, 3 batters.
Are all Hall of Famers.
All Hall of Famers.
It's one of the absolute best I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's quite the trio.
I mean, I thought it was something like when the Blue Jays started with Ricky Henderson, Alomar, Molitor. That was 93.
Yeah.
The Yankees, I'm sure, had something, a combination of Jeter and A-Rod in there, whoever else. But, I mean, these three guys, they go
really good.
they go
And-
Ohtani, Betts, and then Freeman, right?
Yeah, and the Phillies, and the Phillies have they've really handled Ohtani.
Well, let me just say this.
Yeah.
You're right. But this is where, and I want to be really clear, man, this is where Trey Turner has to frickin' step up his October baseball. Like, he's been a very good player this year, maybe a great one. I give him major credit for what he's done. But the other team is coming out there with frickin' Ohtani, and then Betts, and then Freeman. Trey Turner's being paid $300-something million. I need him to frickin' deliver. I need it. We need it. 215-592-9494, because he's supposed to match those guys. All right, let's get to the Twitter poll questions brought to us by Armin Chevrolet. What's the Armin difference? It's simple. It's Armin's people, well-trained, friendly, and caring. Together, let's drive. Visit ArminChevy.com. First poll question. Should I wear the full Phillies fantasy camp uniform for all Phillies playoff games? I'm leaning against it. I'm going to be honest. It hasn't worked in the past. It's been fun. It's also been kind of irritating. Jason,
it looks really good.
I'm a dork. It's kind of funny.
I'm all in on being a dork. Is there some type of is there a reason we're not wearing it? Is it like
they haven't won the last three?
Yeah, well then don't wear it. I don't care about you being a dork or not. Just don't wear it.
Well, the flip side is they did have some runs. I mean, the first 2 years they
overachieved.
It was more than they did previous years.
Yeah, what was different about last year was the first couple years they overachieved as a ball club. It felt like than the expectations going into the season. Last year obviously was the opposite of that. So, yeah, I mean, is there a way you can do it a little bit different?
I could wear half of it.
I mean, listen, if you don't wear a bottom in here, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rhea, should I wear it or not?
Well, see, here's what I'll tell you. I have a rule in my house, and the whole family knows it, and Clark's new girlfriend got exposed to it.
Clark's got a girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a new girlfriend, meaning there was an old girlfriend, now there's a new girlfriend?
Yeah, that kid's got game. I was just saying. That
Mad
Ginger
Riz.
has
He's
game.
got mad Riz.
But no, so they're over the house, and I'm in the sunroom. That's where I watch all the Eagles games. And they came in to grab some snacks right as they threw the Bucks hit on the first long touchdown.
Yep.
And they're literally leaning into the cover to grab it, and I go, get out.
Yeah.
And she looks at him, Charlotte looks at Clark and goes, she's not serious. And he goes, oh, no, we got to go right now.
Superstition matters.
Oh, yeah. So my rule is, but if you're in the room and something good happens, you're not allowed to leave.
Okay. So is that a way to say, no, I should not wear the uniform?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
It does sound like it. All right, the other poll question we have is if Ranger's fully healthy, remember he got dinged there at the very end of the regular season, but if he's fully healthy, who should start game 2 for the Phillies? Should it be Luzardo or should it be Ranger? Let's listen to Rob Thompson. We asked him that question yesterday. Here's what Topper said. Rob, is it Ranger or Luzardo in game 2?
Not sure yet. We've got the inter-squad game today, and Luzardo will pitch today. So he's still available for game 2. Ranger got hit in the leg. He's still kind of a little bit sore from that last start, being hit with a line drive. But I think he'll be fine. So we're not really sure who's going to go game 2 or game 3, really, because he could have a piggyback situation with Nola and one of the lefties. We've got a lot of things we're juggling right now, just depending on who we play.
Where this is so enormously significant is the game 2 starter is your game 5 starter. Ben, who should it be? I think it should be Ranger. Ranger or Luzardo?
Yeah, I'd go Sanchi, Ranger, Luzardo.
Sanchi, Ranger. I'm with you.
And it's weird because you think, well, 3 lefties. There are 3 different lefties.
Yeah.
You got a power sinker changeup start. You got a thumber in Ranger who's just, he's adding, subtracting. He's a corners guy.
Sorry, thumber?
Thumber. Yeah, he's thumbing balls up there, like spinning balls. Yeah. He's not a hard thrower.
Got it.
Right? He's more of a location guy. Up, down, in, out, change the speed, add, subtract. And then you have a power guy in Luzardo. Hard fastball, power, breaking ball. So they're all 3 different lefties. Even though they're all lefty, they're 3 different lefties.
And you know what they also are? They're 3 best starting pitchers when Wheeler's out by far.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's definitely those 3 guys. It's just a matter of how you see it.
Can I ask you, how much does maybe if it's like close like that, how much does it determine who the other team's starting sometimes? Does that ever go into the equation of who you end up throwing out there on the mound?
Well, obviously you want to match up the number ones. I mean, you get Shohei Ohtani. But their starting rotation, they're Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani.
They're all ones.
They're Sheehan. I mean, this guy's coming out of the bullpen. He should be a number 1. He could be a number 1 on anyone's team.
Got it.
So you obviously want to limit the damage. And if Sanchez can keep them in the game, they've got a good good opportunity.
And again,
Yeah.
for those that don't know, if you're just tuning in, the Dodgers, after winning last night, passed the Phillies for odds to win the series and win the World Series. It's an incredible matchup. Some respect to the Brewers for sure, who had the best record in baseball, but I believe these are the two best teams in baseball, the Phillies and the Dodgers. It's going to be a great series. Kenny in East Oak Lane. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Well.
Excellent. So, I've been trying to talk to you guys all week, and I finally get to finish my points from Monday. I have a question to everybody, and that's why do the Eagles keep doing the same thing, expecting different results? Now, I know that you have to bring up, your position coaches and all of that stuff to make them become offensive coordinators, defensive, whatever. But for us, it just does not work, right? Because we tried this with Mike Grove back in the day, and I think he was the pass game coordinator or something like that, and it just didn't pan out. The offense was crazy vanilla and just bad and just plain, and that's where we're at now. And I just think you don't give someone from the pit crew the wheel to the Formula One car to win the championship race, and I think this is a problem. I really do.
Well, Kenny, they're case by case, man. I mean, I think it would be a mistake to say because it hasn't worked at times in the past, let's not hire from within the next time. I just think you got to make a decision case by case.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about who the person is. Obviously, they went out for Fangio, and it worked, but it doesn't mean the other model can't work as well.
I just wish they would have talked to some other people or brought some other people in the building.
Well, they might have. I mean, you don't know that they didn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
it seemed like a quick decision, but
The reality is, I think it's really hard to hire proven coordinators that are just on the street.
Well, to the point when you play in the Super Bowl also.
Yes.
Kenny, this is one of the realities. When you play that game in February,
You're behind.
This is why
everyone else has gotten hired.
It's why most teams, a lot of the times, hire from within. And it's like we were fortunate that Vic Fangio was available.
Right.
yeah.
Great coordinators and play callers typically don't lose their jobs and are on the street. So oftentimes you end up hiring from within. And I think it's a unique position because you have to assert yourself as the play caller and listen, now you're the man calling the shots. And before, your relationship with all these people was of a peer relationship. Now, listen, we're still peers, but really, I need to call the plays and be the person that's making these decisions. And that's what, otherwise, my job is the one that's at stake, not this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people bring up 2023, like, is this 2023? And I don't think it is. And I think 2023, if you look back and look at the stats, the reason that season struggled, really, if we want to be completely honest, is the defense and the turnover differential.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the 2023 offense, as much as it was bad at the end of the year with blitz pickups and it wasn't as good as it was early in the year, over the course of the season, it was the 7th-ranked offense in the NFL. We ran the ball incredibly efficiently, and we moved the ball consistently. When that season really went off the rails when the defense turned into the worst defense in football and we couldn't pick up blitzes and we started turning the ball over. As long as the defense is in a much different situation this year, we are not turning the ball over, and I really think Nick Sirianni and this offensive staff will put this offense in a much better position with Kevin Patullo moving forward throughout the season.
So I mostly agree with you, Jason, there, but I'll give you one retort that's it's been in my head this week. If you take away when man ran backwards to run out the clock and you lose yards on that play, the Eagles in 4 games have been outgained 298 yards, which, by the way, they are the second team in 90 years to be outgained in all 4 games and be 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And 298 yards isn't like, hey, we've been outgained by 55 yards.
That team ended up 5-11 too, for what it's worth. There was a Cardinals team that started 4-0 and then 5-11.
I mean, 298 yards is an enormous amount of yards in 4 games.
To be clear, I'm not saying that the offense hasn't struggled.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
no,
that
I
at
know
all.
you're not.
And the only reason we're winning games is because of turnovers, really, if you want to really get down to it. The defense has played really well. They've kept people out of the red zone and out of the end zone, and we've turned the ball over, or we've gotten turnovers.
I would also say a little, and this is what 23 had, and I think this team has had it. Every team has it to an extent, but
winning.
A little luck.
Yeah,
I mean, your brother drops the ball, CeeDee Lamb drops the ball, CeeDee Lamb drops the ball again, CeeDee Lamb drops the ball again. Stafford had 5 or 6 unusually inaccurate throws. There have been some things that really cut favorably.
Some of it looks like luck, and it is luck. But Eric Mangini, I think, the former coach, said this earlier. I think winning is a skill, and I think that these guys have that aspect to them.
I agree.
As a team, as a ball club, and I think Nick Sirianni is the one that kind of leads that. But all I'm saying is an offense, if you look at Nick Sirianni's tenure as the coach of the team, and I know people have their thoughts on him as a play caller, the offense in Philadelphia over that time period has been one of the best offenses in the NFL, especially running the football. Now, we've struggled passing the last couple years, and they're going to be hard at work fixing that. But I still think with the way the defense is playing, the fact that we're 4-0 and the offense has struggled this much, personally, I'm very optimistic that this team is going to be really good this year, especially once they get these things ironed out.
Good. Kenny,
Joe Stafford was missing those throws because the Eagles hit him. They may not have sacked him, but he was down in between plays.
He was affected, so credit to the Eagles for that. I agree with you on that, Ray. Kenny, give me an answer. An actress, this is for John Legend tickets, an actress with 2 great roles. You can mix and match movies, shows, or both.
Can I say something about the Phillies real quick?
Sure.
All right, so I got something to say. To the Phillies, I want you to feel the weight of the situation you're about to walk into, but not carry it. Accept the fact that defeat is not an option to be tarried with. Stay loose, keep the juice, and to not always swing for the roof. Put the ball in play, keep the Dodgers at bay, handily send them back to L.A. And when we win, celebrate the day. If you lose, push the disappointment away. But most of all, the last thing to say is remember why this is the game you play.
Dr. Seuss Kenny. I love it.
That was wonderful.
Did he write that? Did you write that, Kenny?
Yeah, I wrote that.
Well done, brother.
That was outstanding.
It was.
Kenny, way
outstanding.
to go.
Absolutely outstanding.
My answer is I'm going to switch it up. James, I told you something else, but I'm going to say Jamie Lee Curtis, who was my forever crush in Trading Places and True Lies.
Yeah, I mean, I think
so. That's not the Halloween's got to be in there.
Yeah, I just don't think she would win
it has
anyway.
to be,
but it's pretty good. But I think there's better answers. All right, let's get to the Seth Joyner AJ Brown thing. So if you don't know, AJ talked yesterday, and his main message, if I could just summarize it for you, his main message was he's frustrated with. Look, he took responsibility for tweeting out, and indicated he essentially should not have done that. He also. Other main thing I would say is just saying I'm frustrated because the offense, we're not playing well offensively. I think we all know it's more than that, but that's what he put out there. Okay. So now let's listen to something Seth Joyner said yesterday, because unbelievably, AJ took to Twitter after Seth had some comments about AJ. Is AJ responding specifically to what Seth said yesterday? Maybe. Is he responding to what Seth said earlier this week on our show? Maybe. I don't know. But he had a response to Seth. Let's go to something Seth said yesterday on his own show. Here was Seth yesterday.
A.J. Brown needs to stop that. Because at the end of the day, no matter what he says, he's not going to change anything with his words. And there are a lot of wide receivers that are not performing and being productive to the level that they want to, and they've got this diva mentality about them. But because they respect the coach that they play for, they dare not cross these lines that A.J. Brown is crossing. At the end of the day, no matter how much money A.J. Brown is making, he is still an employee of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni need to nip this in the bud right now. They need to step to A.J. Brown and tell him to shut his mouth, stop it on social media, and play football.
All right, Seth, never one to mince words. He's not really saying that much different than what most have said this week, but he says it in a strong, passionate way, and obviously he's an all-time great Eagle, and so it gets attention. It got AJ's attention. So AJ then tweeted, and remember, this is a couple hours last night after he'd addressed the media, and it's like, let's not be tweeting like that, and then, kind of here we go again. So here's AJ last night, a tweet, at Seth Joyner, the audacity of you telling someone to do their job. My stats every year back that up, that I'm doing mine. How about you do your job and call out the BS, but you won't because they're paying you, so you have to play along and be a good boy. These old heads can be tripped, boy, ... So then that's out there. And then he quickly takes it down, by the way. But somewhere in the meantime, Seth responds. I don't know if this is after it's down or not, but Seth then puts up there, don't delete what you say. I guess this is after he deleted it. Don't delete what you say. Stand on it, and let's talk about it. The audacity of the truth is what we're dealing with. The team, and Seth has team in all caps, the team is 4-0. John, your reaction?
Well, there was a lot of question as to whether this was, real or or not, it does feel like the fact that Seth was replying.
Can we just address that, James? It was his
forth.
Twitter account. He took it down, right? I mean,
That's what we understand it as. You know, like I didn't see it on his Twitter account. He deleted it.
But
immediately. other people have seen it. Other people tweeted out.
Yes.
John Johnson had a forensic expert on last night who said it's real. Like
we've reached.
It
the
seems like it's real.
Portion
Literally,
of the program.
yes. A forensic expert called in.
And it's not Dr. Fong from the OJ trial.
Can we go back to passing notes in high school? For goodness sakes.
All right, so
stunning that it is happening, stunning that it's real, and it does seem to be real. So I was shocked. I was shocked by all of it. Are you as blown away
look,
that
here's
this continues?
here's the good thing. It's not about the team. It's not really about the team. It's not really about a player. It's not really about a coach. I mean, I certainly give AJ more leeway on, like, you want to go after someone who's not on the team or, like, whatever. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I just would say there's an unwise element after you just stepped in it on social media. I mean, he stepped in it. Here's the way I'll put it. And I've used this analogy before, and I think it's a pretty good one. Because everybody at one point in their life, or someone like me many other times, has been late. Ben, you've been late to something.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like a doofus. You show up 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late. And I've always said, like, around the office, if you're late to work, what's your job at that point? Do your job.
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut. This isn't from 9:15 to 12:30 isn't the time to be cracking jokes.
Right.
Or going to the water cooler or taking the smoke break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just handle your business. Right. Until you kind of come out of that a little bit. And then you can start joking.
Extra level of composure.
Yeah.
And you put your head down and you do your job.
Exactly.
You just stepped in it.
Yeah.
Now just step away and step aside.
Right. Pretty
and,
much.
Yeah.
So, like, is it as big a deal if he's going after a teammate or a team or the offense? No. But, like, just come on, man. You just stepped in social media.
Yeah. Pump the brakes.
Jason, I mean, it's got to drive Sirianni nuts, my man. I mean, it's got to drive him nuts.
This is the current state of the NFL, right? Like, the reality is social media is out there, and guys are – it's very difficult in today's age to navigate social media as a player. And the older you get, the more you try and not let it bother you as much. I think Seth is phenomenal. I really do like Seth Joyner. I think he's always been great. As a player, sometimes it was difficult to hear takes because he's going to be very candid and honest. And I don't think he ever says something that, quite frankly, is out of left field or completely ridiculous. I just don't. I think most of the time it's rooted in a lot of factual knowledge of the game and how things work. I also know A.J. Brown. I know A.J. Brown is a tremendous player, a guy that I respect a lot, and a guy who is largely not like a selfish player. Like, even with this tweet, which I wish he would have done it in a different way. I'm sure he does, right? Yeah. There's ways to get this point across to coaches and teammates and things without doing that. But, I've played with guys that were selfish players, and I've seen guys that, want personal success more than the team, and that's a frustrating player to play with. I don't think that that's A.J. Brown. I think a lot of the reason A.J. Brown is frustrated right now actually is that the offense is struggling. I think if the offense was balling out and the passing game was working really well, and he was he might be upset, like, man, I wish I was getting more catches, but he would be genuinely happy that the team was successful. So I think that AJ is largely, a lot of the times when this thing comes out, I used to get upset when things would come out in the media, and I still think that there's better ways, like with unnamed sources or whatever, but largely these things that come out need to be addressed and communicated. And AJ doing this is forcing this communication to happen. And if the team has any hope of succeeding this year, they're going to have to address why the offense isn't functioning, why one of our best offensive weapons isn't being utilized.
Right.
So ultimately, just like last year when a lot of these things happened, hopefully this leads to a much better attack moving forward.
I agree.
So
totally agree. Yeah. So it's 94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia as we broadcast from the Tasty Cake studio. Of course, you can react to everything we're discussing today. Great excitement and anticipation for the Phillies-Dodgers series. Looking ahead to the Eagles and Broncos. Also, that'll be on Sunday. You can win tickets on our show. You got to know the names that we say this week, part of the contest. Let's give you another name.
And the name is...
All right, let's just continue the theme. Seltzer, what do you think the name is today?
Wide receiver of some kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has caused problems in the past. Nelson Aguilar.
Listen.
Way to go.
Bigger problems than that.
Way to go.
DeSean Jackson is the
that's
name.
a much better answer. My bad.
So
I thought we were going somewhere else with that, too. I didn't even know that was
I know, right?
So
DeSean makes sense.
Yeah.
So we gave you 2 names earlier this week, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. We give you the name DeSean today. Know those 3 names and the 4th name that we'll tell you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And if you have the 4 names and are the correct caller, the first caller, when we give you the cue to call tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you can win the tickets to the Eagles and the Broncos.
Courtesy of NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy.
I like this thematic thing we got going. I just want to say. I don't know, though, who to go for number 4. And I because I think those 3 are kind of in a class of their own. But anyway, all right, let's get to someone who's been in a class of his own, I guess other than Zach Wheeler, in baseball in Philadelphia this decade, and that would be Bryce Harper. So, as we gear up for the Phillies and the Dodgers, and however long the playoff lasts, whether it's a series or 3, one thing we all hope is that Bryce can turn it up again. He has been a masterclass in elevating outstanding or truly great play to and even higher heights in his 3 postseasons he's been with the Phils. I don't know where the stats currently stand, but I know as of
clutch.
A year or so ago, he was top 5 in the history of baseball for OPS in playoffs. Like top 5 of all time. So this is a guy, I mean, Ben, you've seen it.
Good.
He does not, and a lot of times it's been like the guy behind him, like the Bohm doesn't hit or the Casty doesn't hit or the JT, like they pitch around him. But anyway, he walks a lot, he gets a lot of hits, and he's really done a great job delivering. Obviously gave us the best Phillies moment this decade with the Bedlam at the bank. All right. With all that said, we talked to Rob Thompson yesterday about Bryce and the motivation within Bryce Harper. Let's listen to something Topper said. 3 years in a row, he has excelled in October baseball, and what you sense could be on the horizon for him the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think he's as motivated as any athlete on the planet to win a championship. I know that, when he left Washington to come here, Washington wins the World Series right away, and there's a lot of noise from other places that they could win without Harper. I think that type of thing motivates him, and I think he wants to win so badly here in Philadelphia. It's just I don't really know the word to put to it, but I can tell you that he is really, really motivated.
I loved hearing that. I mean, I'll say this, it ratcheted up for me the anticipation for, Saturday and Monday and, I mean.
We've seen him just grappling with dealing with this year differently. He's been facing this challenge all year long. Remember going all the way back. I keep referring to it. Hey, guys, we're going to, no more daycare. We're going to be more, focused this year. You're going to keep our eyes on the prize. That's going all the way back.
Yeah, I will say this.
Business.
Well, it has. I will say this. It's a bit of a concern to put out there. I do not think he is as good as he used to be. Now, I'm not saying he's fallen off a cliff. He hasn't. He's still an outstanding baseball player. But the MVP level that he was playing at certain junctures of his Phillies tenure, not to mention Nationals tenure, I don't feel like we've seen that this year. Can he crank it up for a month? Sure, might be able to. But I do worry that his best baseball is behind him. But I do believe he can elevate his game. And I do think he's supremely motivated. And I do know there's a guy like Peyton Manning who was deep in his career before he won that first ring. And he, too, dealt with something similar to Bryce. Peyton Manning's Tennessee Vols won a championship the first year after he was out.
T. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
T. Martin.
That's true.
And that hung around Peyton Manning for a decade. Because not only did his college win after he left, there's knocking on the door at the Colts and not able to break through. And that was a narrative.
Oh, yeah.
And then he broke through. And then he broke through again. And I'll just say this. I have tremendous belief in Bryce Harper. Tremendous belief. And that's why, like I said earlier, I come back more to Trey. Like, Trey, we need you, man. Like, I really believe more in Schwarber and Harper than Trey. And I hope that Trey can join those two in the previous excellence that those two have put together in October, that Trey, other than like the first week of 2023 October, James, fair to say, mostly has not.
Yeah, it was the Braves series, and then the first 2 games of the Diamondbacks, the 10-0 game.
Right.
Trey was awesome, and then fell off a cliff and hasn't gotten back.
And was horrendous against the Mets. Horrendous. All right, let's go to Mondo. Mondo, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up, Mondo?
How are we doing today? How
We're good.
feeling?
We're very excited,
Super.
man. There's a lot going on here.
A lot going on. I was at Citizens Bank Park last night for the interleague game.
And what'd you
Vibes were
think?
very high. Very high. Lighthearted evening. I did enjoy the. I think it was Bueller threw over to first, and everybody booed. It was great.
I love that.
So I wanted to touch on a couple things. The guys are going to need to do what they need to do. We're going to have to get through the middle relievers. Those guys are going to have to actually perform. Kirkering's going to have to throw. He's going to have to play.
Man, he scares me.
Kirkering needs to be so much better, so much more consistent, and I can't depend on him right now. I have no idea what we're going to get.
I totally agree, John.
It's true, but I think I saw a thing they released. Bryce Harper wasn't in the top 10 for rankings for the postseason. I think that's going to light a fire under him.
Sure could. Kind of goes, though, Mondo, to what I was saying about 3 minutes ago. He has not been as good. He's been very good, but he hasn't been as good. And that's notable. I mean, I didn't know that there's a ranking that doesn't have him as amongst the top 10. Ben, I'll say this. Based on his track record, I'd put him in there because he always elevates.
I would agree with that. Yeah. And listen, I think obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think his legacy's on the line here, whether or not he wins a world championship.
I totally agree with you.
I say part of his legacy.
No, but it goes to another level.
I know.
Like, it just is what it is. You got to have a ring.
Well,
it just is what it is. Unless you're Barry Bonds, you have to have a ring.
Bonds and Ted Williams didn't. I mean,
Ernie Banks didn't. It's like
it's one of the hardest sports to do it on your own. I mean, basketball is the easiest sport.
Right.
You're one of, you know what I mean, Jason? You're one of 5 guys. You control the action the most. Right. A great goaltender controls the action more than a hitter who bats 4 times a game. Yeah. It's a hard sport. I'm just saying, I partially hear you is my point.
But, I mean, he's done everything in his power to win one. I mean, think about this. The stuff that he's done it's
legendary.
It's legendary. It's storybook stuff that he's done in the playoffs.
Yeah, it wouldn't be his fault, but it just is what it is. That's the way legacies get decided,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. All right, Mondo, I need an answer from you. This is for the John Legend tickets. 2 roles from an actress, movies or TV. You can mix and match. What do you got?
The Godfather suggestion was top shelf, but I'm going to also go with Jodie Foster if it hasn't been said.
Hasn't.
For Silence of the Lambs, and then True Detective for the show.
Boy, I think True Detective's the wrong answer.
I agree. It's absolutely the wrong answer.
I think you had a real shot. If
you did.
Yeah. Now, someone else can steal it. You can steal.
So I won't say what I would say as the second one.
You can steal Jodie Foster. You go Silence of the Lambs and something else, and you can win the prize. All right.
No, there were 3 Phillies on that list, the top 25. Who do you
So
think
it's
was
25.
the top? Yeah.
So they're including pitchers?
Yes.
So Sanchez definitely on
He's
there.
Well,
3.
Schwarber, Sanchez, and it's got to be Harper.
Probably Bryce.
No.
They don't have
No,
Bryce
it's
in the
Wheeler?
top 25?
I don't. I just
Wheeler?
went through it. I see.
Wheeler's not playing.
It's postseason. It's Sanchez at 3. Kyle is at 13. Kyle Schwarber.
Yep.
And at 23 is Ranger Suarez.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't say.
Boy, I
I'll
think
go
that's
through
some
this
Bryce
again.
Harper disrespect.
Big time. Does someone send this to Bryce Harper, please? Can you get this to the Phillies clubhouse?
Fernando Tatis. Yeah, I do not see him on this list.
Please, Phillies clubhouse, if you're listening, anyone, get this to Bryce Harper immediately.
Is that ESPN, Rhea?
It is CBS Sports.
Yeah, that's some downright disrespect.
Wow.
All right.
I've gone through it like 4 times because I keep going, I must be missing it.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, coming up, A.J. Brown, things that he said yesterday. We'll play some of that audio. More with Jason in studio with us. More with Rob Thompson for what he said yesterday.
Joe might have gotten a hat that's not a clip in the
it's
back
a fitted hat. Look at you.
Is this a
Congrats.
fitted hat, or is this like one of those stretchy, one size fits like
That's fine. No, it's
medium
better
and
than
large?
having
No,
the
that
thing in the
is-
back. Yeah.
Is
How
this a
bad's my
fitted
hair
hat?
right now?
Not great.
My hair really bad now.
Put the hat back on. Not backwards.
Look
you look
at you.
So, I
Dan
don't know.
Quinn
New
over
hat,
there.
a new Phillies hat, and it is a pretty cool hat, man.
Thank you, sir.
very nice.
Thank you.
So let me see.
Yeah.
It's like the stretchy kind on the inside, but
Yeah,
it's
but
still
it's still fitted.
it's a lot better than the clip
Step back.
Be good for your big noggin, Richie.
Oh, well, I wish that could. My face is that my head is not the problem. It's my face.
Yeah, it
my
is big.
face is gigantic. So you put the hat on
Isn't
top.
your face
and
part of
it's-
your head?
Yeah, I guess
Last
so.
time I checked.
It's an excellent point, Jason.
Jason, did you ever have a teammate with a gigantic something?
I had a few guys.
6'2" player.
There's
Different
no
head,
secret.
different head.
Come
but
on,
yeah.
Seltzer!
Let's make some noise. Come on.
No secrets in a locker room, Joe. That's what you missed out on. You who quit
Yeah.
sports. There's a lot of unspoken, really
All right.
enthralling concepts.
Can we
that
drill down for a second?
I think he's stagnated.
Well, I stopped playing
he
sports
just
in sixth
never
grade.
developed past a certain point because he didn't get to do anything.
All right, let me ask two questions. And let's just find out if we can't find out, but what do we believe? James Seltzer, was Randy Johnson called the big unit because he's like 6'11", or because like the other reason?
Both.
All right. Ben Davis, was Ryan Howard called the big piece because he's a big man and he was batting in the middle of the lineup, or for a different reason?
Why are you so tantalized?
Well, I'm just
by
saying,
this?
if we're
We all
going here, let's
wonder.
go all the
We
way.
all wonder.
I mean, one guy's called the
I
big
don't
piece, one
wonder.
guy's called the big unit, and
big
you didn't
unit.
think.
He was a big piece of the lineup.
That's right.
That's what Charlie said.
It's important.
Now we're getting into Jason's line of humor.
Yeah, for sure. This is right down my alley, baby.
All right, 215-592-9494.
Just be hanging out.
That's right. Let's get to A.J. Brown. Let's get to how he started yesterday when he addressed the situation. So he said a lot of different things, but before he even fielded questions, he had sort of an opening statement, if you will. Wasn't scripted, wasn't written down, but he spoke from his heart. Here's what he said.
First off, I want to start off by saying, obviously, Sunday after the game, I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations, and I continued to let it boil over. That's on me. I take full accountability on that, posting that. My message on Twitter wasn't directed at anyone in the building. Not my coaches, not my quarterback, my GM, nobody. Like I said, I take full accountability. I have an open communication with all my coaches and with my quarterback as well. Me and my coaches, KP, Nick, we discuss weekly about trying to get this thing on the same page. So yeah, there you go.
All right, that's AJ. Yeah, so let's get to one more piece of audio before we break it all down. He had been asked about, is it strange being 4-0? But, the numbers, your numbers are small, obviously. And he does a pretty deep dive into the wide receiver mindset. I found this fascinating. Here's AJ.
Absolutely, it is tough, because you want to help contribute to the win, Obviously, it's been a little tough, got the ball in the second half of the Rams game, not getting as many targets to help contribute. But, it is tough. It's tough to stay engaged because we're on an island. A lot of things have to go right. The ball has to come. Guys have to block up front, and then we got to do our job and win and then make the play. So when you don't get targets, you don't see the ball for half the game, 2 hours. Man, it's hard to stay engaged, but, we're professionals and we continue to try to, make the most of it when the numbers call.
All right, that's AJ.
Brings up a really good point. I mean, there's a lot that goes into him getting the ball, and there have been problems up front. With Landon, with his injuries, with Lane being in and out of the lineup, mostly out of the lineup.
Well, let's get to that with Jason. So, Jason, the O-line thing, this came up. A couple callers have brought it up, and it's very hard for me to assess. So, when a lineman has certain types of injuries, let's say the nature of these two with Landon and Lane.
Lane, yeah.
When you play through them, can you get like fully healthy, so to speak? I know nothing's like fully healthy, but can you play through it in 3 or 4 weeks and be like back to good, back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the degree of the injuries that they're kind of fighting through, or like, what within. Yes, the vast majority of players that are injured that are playing, their injuries are healing week over week and getting better. Yeah. There are sometimes pressures to play with an injury that, might not get better until an off season, right?
Sure.
Until you're going to wait, and those are typically things that require surgery that aren't going to repair themselves. But most injuries with time, your body heals as the season goes along, and you can kind of re-aggravate some, and that's where you'll see like a hamstring injury. Like we'll wait until we feel confident that the player is good enough to play, but not still so hampered that he's going to re-injure this and then be dealing with it for another 5 to 6 weeks.
But most of the time you're asking the question, can I make it worse if I play?
Yeah.
And if they say probably not, then you're going
then
to
you're playing.
Because we have wondered if they should sit out a game. Like that came up early. A couple callers, should they just sit out a game? I mean, I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, well, and John's just said it. Like, I had a sports hernia surgery in 2014, and I came back, and honestly, I probably came back too early. But the moment they told me that I could go out there and I had no more risk of re-injuring this, I'm going out and playing, brother. Whatever I got to do.
Yep.
And I couldn't really jog during the week without Toradol. I could get through practice and do the plays. I couldn't open up, and then I'd get to game day, do that, and then I could function. But it probably wasn't. I wasn't my best version of myself. Was I the best thing for the team? I don't even know the answer to that.
But probably.
And that's kind of where a lot of the times you are as a starter, especially a really good player.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, is this guy better at 75% than the next guy at 100? With Landon Dickerson, that guy has been such a big impact in our ability to run the football well. And I have not seen a guard move people the way he does. He is a big part of it. Lane Johnson, I think everybody in Philadelphia knows the degree at which he's important to the success of the offense. So, yeah, listen, the line's been banged up. They're going out there. They're giving it their best, and I think that it's going to improve. But yeah, that's been something to keep an eye on.
So, reminder tomorrow, big programming here on WIP from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. after our show. A big pep rally, Phillies pep rally for Red October. It's going to be at Stateside Live. That's what formerly was known as Xfinity Live. So if you can get there for the 8 hours, Ben, I think you're going to be there for a stretch tomorrow, right?
Yes, from with the midday show.
It's awesome, man.
For an hour.
So Joe and Fritz and I too, 11 to 12 with the midday.
Sweet,
nice.
So what's up with everyone else but me getting the invite?
I'm sure you could get on if you wanted to.
No.
You'll be napping at the Borgata.
You don't want to.
We
You're
know.
coming. Yeah. What are you talking about?
That's nap time
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
Hammer. Let's get to Rick. And no offense to them. I'm just saying I do frequently nap in the afternoon. Rick and Easton, good morning, buddy.
Yeah, the Dodgers and Phillies reminds me a little bit of who the winner of the Oregon-Ohio State game last year was going to be the national champion.
Rick, I thought the same exact thing. That was a 1-8 matchup that was brutal for the one, and you have this every once in a while, and it does feel like the two best teams in baseball are about to play in the division series.
Yeah, you alluded to that earlier, them being the best two teams. As far as Bader over Realmuto, listen, I'm all for the energy and the hot hand right now and the younger eyes on the bat. I'm not only just pushing for Bader over Realmuto. I'm not sure I want him hitting fourth, fifth, or even sixth. His age in the postseason with his bat speed just concerns me. It just does.
Well, me too.
Luzardo, I definitely.
But we got to give him credit for rounding in a decent form this year.
He really did, but his RBI total, just really isn't there. And we just give him a big pass, the greatest catcher in baseball and all that. I just think his offense is not going to be the best for us. But look, I guess we're going to find out. I definitely think Luzardo needs to go game 2 because when you're going up against Ohtani, Snell, Yamamoto, which is critical. I agree with Ben 1,000,000%. Our bats is going to be more of an issue over the bullpen and our starters. But you're going to have to beat Ohtani twice possibly and Snell and Yamamoto. And the Dodgers, they have that Ohtani, Betts, Friedman gauntlet. We don't have that. I think the Phillies can win. They're going to have to get hot. And they're going to have to get hot early and take advantage of the home field advantage.
Well, I'm with you on I guess everything other than I'd go Ranger over Luzardo. But Rick, give me an answer, buddy, for a combination of 2 roles from an actress.
Katharine Hepburn. Guess who's coming to dinner on Golden Pond?
Yeah, for sure. That's a big one. James, that's not the one you were thinking, though, right?
No, it's not.
But
no, my winning answer is still sitting out there.
You got it, my man. Let's listen, speaking of answers, to an answer from Rob Thompson yesterday. We talked to him about the lineup with... because the premise was, you got Bader now, obviously, and Trey back to 1. Let's listen to what he said about Bader with Trey back. How do you fit them in as far as who bats where? Essentially, where does Bader hit now that Trey goes back to the leadoff spot?
Yeah, that's a good question because Trey will lead off. Now, when Bader went through a really hot stretch, now the last couple of weeks he's kind of cooled off a little bit, and Bohm's really swung the bat well. So that spot behind Harper is going to be a right-handed bat. Just not sure which one it's going to be yet. We're going to have some conversations in the next couple of days and see where we land. But Bohm's been really hot, and it's important to have some guys down at the bottom that can get on base to turn the lineup over to get to Turner and Schwarber and Harper. So, it's a good problem to have, to tell you the truth.
Sure.
Makes our lineup really deep if everybody's swinging bat.
So one thing about Rob Thompson through the years I've noticed, when he gives answers, they are pretty forthcoming, and there's some tells in there. And I thought he had a tell in the midst of answering that question. Late in his answer about Bader, he referenced it's important to have people down at the bottom of the lineup.
I heard that too.
And that tells me that Bader is probably 7.
Or 8.
Or 8.
I think so too. And I think Bohm is clearly clean up with that answer.
Bohm is going to bat 4. And then, Ben, do you go with Marsh 5?
I think you kind of have to, yeah. Yeah. I know you don't trust him, but he's been really good.
I know.
I mean, for a guy that ended up over 280 and he didn't have a hit in April, did not have a hit in
He
April.
batted 303 since May. May 1st, he's a 303 hitter.
Yeah.
You don't do that by accident.
Yeah, I just, John, that one's shaky, man.
But you don't do that by accident, but he did this during the regular season, and I haven't seen him do it in the post.
He's never done this in the regular season for what's worth. I mean, this is the best he's been as a Philly. And I'm nervous too, but I'm just saying it is the best he's been.
All right, so let's get to the Twitter poll questions of the day. Both Phillies related, both brought to us by Armin Chevrolet. Check out Armin Certified One Owner, pre-owned pickup trucks and SUVs at ArminChevy.com. That's ArminChevy.com. Together, let's drive. First poll question, if Ranger is fully healthy, and he did get dinged up in the last start when that line drive hit him, but if he's fully healthy, who should start game 2 for the Phils, Luzardo or Ranger? Second poll question, should I wear the full Phillies fantasy camp uniform for the Phils playoffs again? John, it sounds like you're leaning no on that.
Well, it sounds like you don't have your heart in it, buddy.
I don't.
Sounds like your guts are saying, I don't want to do this. So what would the point be? You don't want to force this. You don't.
Well, A.J. Brown doesn't want to play in this offense, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Well, okay.
You know, see what I just did right there?
Compared yourself to one of the greatest wide receivers out
I'm just saying, he'd rather be Puka Nacua.
And really, frankly, I don't want your guts talking.
I can't believe how much you underrate Puka Nacua.
No, he's
crazy.
He's really good, James. I never said he wasn't. I just said it.
No, you did.
No. We said he was a top 5 receiver in the sport.
And
he
I
said
said
he
he's
isn't.
not.
And he is. He's a top 5 receiver in the sport. He might be a top 1 receiver in the sport.
All right, let's go to Kelce.
Absolutely.
Jason,
he might be the MVP
here we go.
of the NFL.
It's about opportunity. It's called the Michael Carter Williams theory. If you get opportunity, you get stats. Now, Jason, obviously I'm joking a bit there. He's outstanding.
Yes.
But above Nacua,
who do you have?
I've got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
I've got Chase. I've got AJ. I've got CD. And I got to figure out my 5th. Am I wrong?
If you don't have a 5th,
Well, you don't have a 5th.
I got to look at healthy Tyreek Hill.
I hate to say it, he's better than AJ. Like I think Puka's better than AJ.
See, James, this is what AJ's frustrated about.
Yeah,
that
I don't
you
agree with
think that.
I do.
That's what he's frustrated
I think
about.
Puka's like a top 2 receiver in the sport right now.
Jason, break it down.
I think that Puka is, for what he is asked to do in L.A., absolutely phenomenal. And it takes a very special player to do all of the things that he's doing there. And I think if you put AJ in Puka's role, he would be less effective. But for sure, if you put Puka in AJ's role, he would be less effective. It's not as simple as who's better than who. And I think AJ is one of the best receivers. I also think Puka is one of the best. His skill set for how they utilize all the motions and having him slide inside and insert and get out and move around. It's unbelievable. It's very impressive to watch.
I do like that Lions guy also. There's a Saint and a Brown and a
Amon-Ra St. Brown is
can't pick him if you don't even know his name.
I love that
He's
guy.
great.
I love that guy.
The reason Puka and Amon-Ra, a big reason why they're both so dangerous, is they can block the hell out of you. Yeah. They will destroy you.
Well, he reminds me of Robert Woods
like that. They're used in a lot of similar ways.
And Hines Ward.
Insert them inside inside, but I don't know, in like the C gap, to insert for players that normally you can't block with a wide receiver.
Yeah,
these wide receivers can block linebackers at times. They can hold their own against linebackers at times. That's amazing.
No, it's great. I am a fan of them. I want to be clear.
Those two are perfect for the system and what they're utilizing them as, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Final thing here with Jason. We love having Jason with us every Thursday morning. So let's do a little Eagles-Broncos.
Okay.
So we've heard from a couple of our experts this week that, and I forget who, it all runs together. We have Jaws, we have Shield, we have Ray, we have Seth,
Okay.
Couple of them said, like, the Broncos are pretty freaking good, and their defense is outstanding.
They're very good on defense, and they were probably, if not the best defense, right up there with us last year. Like, this is a team that's been consistently very, very good on defense now for 2 years. Offensively, they've been hit or miss. Like, Bo Nix put a pretty good game this last week together, so maybe that's trending. Sean Payton's obviously a tremendous coach offensively, so that'll be fun to watch those guys go up against Vic. But this is a tall task for an offense that has been, largely not what it should be, now going against one of the best defenses in the NFL, for sure. And it'll be interesting to see the way they attack them. I mean, this is a 3-4 defense. Vance Joseph has been successful for a long time. They have great players on that side. They've been getting into these condensed formations in 12 and 13 personnel and trying to do that to get the run game going, which hasn't really worked very well to date. Do you try and spread that out? Do they stay in base? Do they match with nickel? And I'm waiting to see kind of how that all unfolds, honestly.
Yeah. So Surtain, for those that don't know, he was the Defensive Player of the Year last year, corner for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Do you think they put him on AJ, like, take him? It's not just because, like, he's really good and it's a great matchup, but, like, the psychology of if he is handling AJ, now AJ might be really ticked, and now it causes a problem for Jalen and Nick. Like, is there a psychology to that matchup that Sean Payton might try to exploit?
I'll say this. I hope they do that, because 9 times out of 10, if they're matching one guy with another guy, they're playing a lot of man coverage. And if you look at the Eagles versus man coverage and Jalen Hurts, they have just annihilated teams. The types of defenses we have struggled with have been more zone coverage based. So while that might hinder AJ's production as an offense and as a team, bring the man on, baby. I think you put man against our team and the players that we have and the quarterback and what he brings to the table, I feel very confident in the Eagles having success against that. I also, just because a player matches somebody, there's ways to free guys up in man coverage, right? If they want to play man and you build a bunch and they would try and match all those guys, it's very, very difficult. And you can do all these mesh concepts and things to free guys up. So, listen, Surtain is the best corner in football. So he's a tremendous player, but I think the Eagles in their own right are phenomenal against man coverage.
Last thing, Jason, now that we're talking corners, I just figured let's go here.
Yeah.
So you didn't play with them, Quinyon and Cooper.
Yeah.
But holy mackerel, man.
Dude, it's been impressive. I mean, Quinyon obviously, both of them as rookies too, like just coming out the gate and being fantastic. And Quinyon, I feel like largely has been a little bit more unheralded for whatever reason. And recently, I think was he the Player of the Week or Defensive Player of the Week or something like that. He got some award this week where it was like, all right, he's finally being acknowledged, and maybe Surtain gave him some love in the media. He's turning into one of the best corners in all of football, and to have that on a team, just to be able to lock down a side or lock down a specific guy is a amazing asset to have as a defense. And Cooper, to be able to play inside and out, like he's shown that he can go outside, he can play the nickel position, he can play safety, very savvy, very athletic. Both of those guys, with how young they are.
He tackles everything.
The physicality
it's so
effectively.
It's so rare to have a guy that can do all that, right? Like typically you have a corner that is a little bit lighter and he can card anybody in the league. Typically you got a safety that's a bigger body guy that you want to exploit in coverage. Yeah. You can't do that with this guy. You can line him up as a nickel, inside leverage on a number 2 receiver, and he will fill a B gap. And he will also run with the number 1 down the field. Like it's a remarkable piece to have, especially in a defense that likes to be as multiple as what Vic Fangio wants.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the Eagles salary cap in future years because they've been very, very heavy on offense with the money in the last 5 years or so. But in a year, they're going to pay Jalen Carter probably. And in 2 years, they're going to be paying, DeJean and Quinyon. And, it's going to start flipping the cap a little bit because they're already paying Bond, $50 million. anyway, they got some guys to pay, and that's a good problem to have. Jason, love having you in studio, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
Enjoy
for
the
having me.
Phillies playoffs, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
listen, I'm going to for sure.
We'll see you down there.
Let's go, baby.
All right, there he is, Jason Kelce, with us in studio every single Thursday morning. 215-592-9494.